everyone, this is a Hasler podcast. My guest today is Donna. Donna has been a personal trainer over 10 years. And before personal training, she has an amazing history to share with us. Donna, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm fine. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Just let your audience know this is my first podcast, so I'm very excited. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. Donna, before we jump into our conversation today, I want to know more about you. Where you came from?
Originally, I came from the western side of the state of Connecticut, town or a city called Danbury, Connecticut.
Okay.
So that's where I originate from. I've been on Cape Cod, though. So Washer Shore, not a Cape Codder, but I love this place. They're about 32 years now.
Okay. So, born and raised in Connecticut?
I was born and raised in Connecticut. That's correct.
Okay. So what about high school?
High school was in very large high school, Danbury High School. I had originally educated in a Catholic school for 8 years with 350 people. And in my 9th to 12th grade, I transferred over to about 3,000. Okay. So that was quite the experience.
After high school, you did a college, right?
I absolutely did. I went to, it's called Western Connecticut University now, but at my time, I got a bachelor's in psychology at Western Connecticut State College.
Okay, why psychology?
Because I find people intriguing and interesting. And in the world, we need to be able to cope with all different personalities and people that, are different lives, different places around the world. And I found it was intriguing and a great major to have. And it's been very helpful for me in all my years of doing so many different things.
Okay. So, but what inspired you to start a psychology?
Inspired me because I had a little bit of a challenging upbringing.
Yeah.
And understanding dynamics of families and my parents and how I grew up helped me tremendously to be able to cope with the outside world and that I'm not alone in what had occurred with myself and my family itself. So that kind of was the reason, and helped me on my journey. I did.
Okay. So after graduate from college, so what you did? You start to look for a job or something like that?
Well, I had the bachelor's and then I was hired back in the day. I was hired with IBM. IBM in Armonk, New York, used to be their world headquarters. And I stayed there for a bit of time. Then I married my husband, who now we just celebrate our anniversary, 43 years of being married. And he had gone to officer candidate school with the Coast Guard, came out as an ensign. And then that was my journey after marriage, that we traveled all over the place, wherever he needed to be stationed every 3 to 4 years. That's what I did. Fortunately, at the time, IBM would place me in different locations. So I've been everywhere from Boston to Washington, D.C., to Portland, Maine. So I've been kind of all over the place.
What about the Silicon Valley? No.
Gotta say, we stayed, the Coast Guard was great to us. We stayed on the East Coast. His journey with the Coast Guard, he did serve 21 years, and we ended up back in Boston, which is when we purchased our house back in the 1990s.
Okay.
And then I started raising a family, and I have 2 grown children now. One, Catherine, is 34, and my son, William, is 32.
Okay. So now you live in Cape Cod, right?
I live in, yes, I still live
How did you find Cape Cod? Connecticut, New York, Cape Cod. How did you find
just it? From our travels as a military spouse, married to to a coastie. You just kind of look around and you see what suits you best. And we had young children. We're trying to figure out, well, where was the best place for them?
Yeah.
And we thought that the Cape, and my husband commuted to Boston for many, many years. And we purchased land here and a home, and never looked back after that.
Do you like it?
I love Cape Cod. I love the people here, and it's been a very good experience for me and for my children as well.
Okay. So now you are personal trainer?
I am now. Yes, I am.
Okay, let's go talk about it. So how did you jump into personal training industry?
Well,
psychology to personal training.
How did I get from one place to the next? Very good, very good question. It's I tell people it wasn't a straight journey. There was a lot of roads and hills and different experiences because I just didn't land into it. So I could tell you the best because people know me mostly as a person that works out all the time.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, you must have been an athlete when you were growing up. I said, nope. I said, I never did a lick of exercise till my 20s. And people kind of get taken back. And I started off as a runner, and I've run marathons. My first one way back in the day was the Boston Marathon, when in the fun time you could get to the back of the pack. You didn't need a number or a time. And I found out that my love was running and endurance. So it was kind of a step from doing that. And then I had to take quite a break because I had young children, and I took a break from the world of exercise, which I wish I had continued, but I got back into it in probably around 42, in my mid 40s. Went to quite a few different places. You try to find your niche.
Yeah.
And what got me into personal training was where I am now. This is my gym family, Hyannis Mixed Martial Arts, and the owner is Jeff Watola. Jeff and I have been friends, and he's been my personal trainer for about 15 years now. And it's kind of funny on my journey how I met him and how I got finally into working with people. He met me at another gym where my daughter was supposed to take one-on-one lessons and said, well, I don't want to do this. I said, I just paid for these. What am I going to do? And that's how I started with him. And we always say that we probably would have never met if it wasn't for that, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me. He trained me and just said my endurance and my discipline. He said, you got to be a personal trainer. And then before they said, you got to box too. I said, by that time I'm in my 50s.
Jeff told you that.
Absolutely. He
He's an
told
amazing
me,
guy.
Amazing person.
Yeah.
Never seen anybody quite as disciplined as him.
I like it.
He's been was a professional mixed martial art person. He's just, I knew this was the right match and wouldn't think of it. So we've had quite the journey. He's been a mentor, a friend, and after a while, he says, you got to do this. And I said, so I went to what they call World Instructional Training School. At the time, it was at Cape Cod Community College. And I did that 8-week program. But before that, I also did some other type of certifications, not in training. I thought my lifelong passion was going to be working in billing, coding in the medical field. And I did that for 5 years before doing what I do now. So, but they all intermeshed. For health and understanding, that was probably doing some medical certifications was one of the best things I could have ever done. Then the next one right after that was getting my personal training certification. And after that, I also worked at a different gym, Quench Training for Women. Did about 4 years there as well. Learned a tremendous amount between that and Jeffrey himself. But my bottom line is my gym family. This is where I came home, and that was last October. I've always worked out there for many years. And he says, got to come over, Donna, got to come over. So I've been working with him, working out. I live in a gym. folks. I work out in a gym. I teach in a gym, and I couldn't think of a better place in a gym family and what I do. I love it.
Okay. So I know that your sister, she was with breast cancer. So how did you deal with her when she was sick with the cancer?
Yeah. The one thing about doing what I do is that we meet people, such as my sister, my family's crisis, but you do meet people that come to us with everything from sometimes traumas personally that happen in a family or a situation to people that have physical traumas. In our case, my sister was diagnosed with breast cancer, but thankfully that was diagnosed at a very early stage. Do a standard mammogram, which, ladies, I can tell you, it does save lives. It's so important to do. I still do mine once a year. We do not have a history of breast cancer in my family. She got tested for what they call I think it's the BRCA1 gene, which is indicative if, you carry that gene, you can carry and get breast cancer, but that wasn't the case. But thankfully, it was caught so early, she was able to undergo, unfortunately, she had to undergo a partial mastectomy, and she still had quite a course to take. It was hard, painful physically as well as mentally, but we stick together as a family no matter what, and that's what carried us through. I emphasize to people that keep exercising, and when your doctor says you can go back and do it, do it. It'll be the best thing for you in the world. But she's cancer-free, and we feel very blessed and grateful for that.
Okay. So that situation influenced you to become a personal trainer too?
It's one of the many reasons I became a personal trainer, just to share a little bit of my journey, but more important to share other people's journeys. We're not all the same in where we are in our exercise journey, but you are where you are. You don't compare yourself to others. You start where you start. I always tell people that exercise is a progression. You're going to start off at a certain level, and if you stay through it with consistency, determination, and discipline, which is one of the most wonderful things that exercise and physical fitness does for you, you are going to attain, you are going to see results, you will see success.
Okay. So what kind of a student do you have in terms of age? Is it a kid?
No,
Young?
That's the one thing I don't do is children. Although at Jeff's gym, we have a great guy named James Curry who does jujitsu, and he does have a children's class in Jeff's gym, and he's wonderful with the children. He does a great job, and he does adults. But in my personal case, we take everyone all adult levels. I've had them for where they are athletes, got to kind of up their ante, to people that are just starting out and people that are in the middle. And I'd love to train anybody. I'll adjust it. I'll modify it to where that person is at that particular moment.
Okay. Let's talk about the benefit of exercise. I want to start with the mental health.
Well, and everybody realizes that not only exercise is great beneficially for physical fitness, one of the things I do also say for people in older age groups like myself, there's two things that are important.
Which age is older for you?
Which is, most people know I'm a little bit older, and I never mind telling my age. I'm 67, I'll be 68 in May, and Jeff and I he started me with this. He says that physical fitness and exercise is the fountain of youth. So for our older clientele, just doing not just the boxing for cardio and endurance, but the strength training aspects of it. You've got to incorporate that into it. It's just weight bearing exercises for our muscles as they begin to atrophy and are not as strong. We get osteoporosis, or osteopenia is the precursor to osteoporosis. This basically saves your bones. That's how I tell everybody.
Okay.
But besides that, the most important benefits is mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health, what it does for me, and I share a little bit of this as struggling when in my youth in family situations. I had anxiety and depression from the time I was 15. I recognized it. Of course, back in my day, nobody really talked much about exercising for mental health benefits. But the mental health benefits, you get what you call your serotonin, that is almost opiate-like without being an opiate. But when you exercise, that level gets raised. You feel better mentally. You feel like, my God, that was just great. As you progress through your physical exercise journey, these benefits just increase. You feel more positive. How you deal with people in your workplace, how you deal with people in just general day-to-day life.
Exactly.
It is the best thing you can do for yourself. I tell the clients at Jeff's gym that this is cheaper than going to a psychologist or a therapist. Now, I'm not downing. I'm not downing. But if you're going to do that in conjunction, it is just the best thing. Your self-esteem as you progress goes up. Your attitude goes up. Your thought process, and that's something very important for older generation people. I'm more solid in my thinking. I do know, when I look at a lot of my own personal generation of people in their 60s and stuff, and some of them are phenomenal. Other people, you can tell when they haven't. It just weighs on you, and the physical ramifications from not moving. I always tell people, you gotta move. The human body was not meant to be sedentary. It's not. It's meant to move, get those steps in, but don't compare yourself to others. You're on your own journey. Enjoy and rejoice in the successes that you do.
Okay.
Each and every day.
Usually people do a New Year resolution just for January.
Yes.
After that, they give up of the gym. What's going on?
I know. And I'm like, please. A lot of people, unfortunately, will sit there and say, well, now for January, I'm going to go into the gym and exercise 5-6 days a week. Folk, a resolution is wonderful. A resolution broken down into bits and steps and pieces not only is realistic, it will set you up for better success. Saying you're going to do something and then you say you miss a day, or you just can't be there, and then they get disappointed, they feel terrible, and that's the end of it. And I don't want to see that. I want to see every person that comes to our door at HMMA to succeed, to be the best that they can be. But for some people, say they never exercised. And I tell them, your goal is 150 minutes. Okay. 5 days a week, or you break it up into any way. And they say, oh my God, I never exercised. I said, look, even if you come in here 1 day a week, guess what? That's a success. That's not because if you haven't exercised or you haven't done this, start small. Then you step it up and you step it up and you step it up. The journey is not going to happen, and you're not going to fit in, and it's not about fitting into that size 6 or size 8. It's about how you feel, that you're going to mentally feel the best you've ever felt, that you meet people, that all have their own journeys. You find commonality. So you find friendships. And that's a very important thing I find, especially in our gym. We always encourage one another. No judgment zone, we call it.
Okay. How can I motivate myself to don't give up of the gym, of the exercise, because it's not easy.
No, okay? I'll always tell you. Lima, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah. It's not easy, especially when there might not be people with the knowledge. They say, I don't know how I can do this. First of all, you took the first step to come to us. That in itself should be motivating. For a lot of people, it's very intimidating to go into a gym, okay? But I always say ours is very unique. We're a family. Like I said, we're non-judgmental. The way I would keep you motivated is do the best you can.
Yeah.
Don't look at anybody else. Do what you can do, okay? And people do say I'm very motivating. I'll always come over. I'm always checking on you. Is anything bothering you? How you feeling? You need a break. You take a break, okay? You just keep going. If you need that day off the next day, then you take it off. You have to listen to your body. I think having good trainers around you, good trainers and good people around you is what will help you to keep motivated. And best of all, for people, come to us, converse with us. Tell us when you're not feeling it. It's like, I don't see results, or what am I doing? Well, you're not doing anything wrong. You're there. And that's the most important thing that you could do. It will come. But I'm very realistic with clients. Yeah. It does take time. It does. But it will be worth it.
Because you have to develop your discipline, and the discipline takes time.
And that's the one thing it's taught me over the years. I've been now working out since I was about 22 years. And people say, well, it keeps you going. I said, well, I couldn't really live without it anymore. That even in the days, and there's days I don't want to do it.
Yeah, your routine.
Yeah. Don't want to do the routine. Although I'm a trainer, I'm a human being. And there's times like, here we go. But I am so glad when I've done it, Lima. I'm so happy when I've done it, and it's worth it. So it does get to that level, but also find something that's your passion, something that you love to do. I don't want people in there saying, I don't like this. Well, you're not going to continue it if you don't like it, or you don't find. I can't say that about our boxing at Hyannis Mixed Martial Arts. It's fun. It really is. Jeff and I make it fun. We make it great music, great vibes. So we make it where we want people to come back. And they do come back.
Are you still run a marathon?
What's that?
Are you still run a marathon?
I have not run a marathon. I had a meniscus issue. So about in my 50s, I had stopped doing it when it wasn't fun anymore. Yeah. So my two main types of exercise, just personally for myself, are boxing, because I love the cardio aspect of it. Yeah. And I strength train at least a minimum of 2 days a week.
2 days a week.
2 days a week with separation in between. So Monday would be a boxing day. Tuesday would be my strength training day, and then back to boxing.
Okay.
I either sometimes do just a very specific body. Maybe I do upper, or I do lower, all over body. But you gotta give your body with strength training a day rest, because we get what they call little tears in your muscles. By the way, folks, that's not a bad thing. It's building muscle. So it's time to rest and rebuild again.
What do you eat, Donna? Do you have a nutritionist? Do you have a special plan or something like that?
I have for what I do, I have, and everybody's different. Everybody has different medical conditions. Yeah. So I always say, talk to a doctor, talk to a nutritionist. But for myself personally, I love my protein. Not a vegan or anything like that. I like my poultry and
the whey protein?
Not necessarily whey protein. What I have is, I eat a lot of chicken,
fish,
fish. I like shellfish. I like oysters. I like clams. So there isn't too much off of my, plate. I don't. The only thing I don't eat a lot of, this is personally for me, is red meat. I have red meat maybe best once a week.
You don't like it? Or?
I love it.
Okay.
But depending on what you're eating, I find it a little bit too fatty for me at times. It's delicious, but I'll do it maybe once every other week. Mostly turkey, mostly chicken, fish, and shellfish. Yes. And only certain amounts, and I eat very slow. and Jeff will tell you this. He says it's okay, but I'm the slowest eater you'll ever see, because one trick I tell people is you eat slow.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you eat slow, because your brain and your stomach are in two different zones. So if you
explain me better.
So eat slow.
Yeah.
Your brain will catch up to fullness. If you eat too much too fast, I think not only is it not good for your digestive system, but then you'll have that feeling of being overfilled. Mm-hmm. So I just eat slow. I chew. I chew very slow. I think about what I'm eating, and it works actually. So maybe after 15 minutes, I'll say, I'm not so filled, and I just control the portions that I have on my plate.
Okay.
Yeah, not too much. And I tell people there's nothing wrong with having a treat. You want a cupcake or a candy, that's okay. Just put it into your repertoire where it's probably not every day, or you're eating too much of it, because sugar are what they call simple carbs, and simple carbs turn to fat. And it's just not a healthy thing.
What's a simple carb for you? Is it like a potato or something like that?
Well, simple carbs, if I eat potatoes, it's a simple one, and it's excuse me, my nose is itchy, starch. So I don't put sour cream. I'm not putting butter on it. As a root vegetable, it's very good for you. A lot of times when people say, well, I had a salad. Well, what was in the salad? And they'll say, oh, the salad had, some nice things, but then, they're
vitamin. They're
yanking on the dressing. And I'm like, no. So what you put onto your food is very important as the food that you eat itself.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's go talk about another thing. Pregnant women, can they exercise?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
What kind of exercise can you prescribe for pregnant women?
I just say to go more in moderation, especially in your first trimester, because that's the point where a baby is developing.
Yeah.
I go away from abdominal exercises because that's where the child is. And the priority is to protect the child and yourself too, as well as your health. But yeah, to do exercises, strength training, I would probably go a little lower on the weights, stay away from the midsection during that time, because you are going to grow, but you're also going to have, after the child is born, you're going to have that time to get it back. And it does take time. It does take time after birth. It takes at least 6 months to kind of get yourself all back to normal post-pregnancy. But yeah, we've had pregnant women in there doing boxing.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I promise you they've been in there. But like I said, I'm always checking on people.
Yeah.
Whether they're new or whether they're with child, constantly checking on them. I said, how you feeling? And I said, you take a break whenever you need it.
Yeah.
I don't want them to overdo it either. So
exactly.
I get worried about them and the child. And that's just kind of my thing. That's why I love doing what I'm doing. Okay. It's nice to care for people.
Okay. What about the diabetic?
Diabetic, actually, that's a good question, because I have a sister-in-law who now, she's been looking for a house on the Cape for 2 years. And where does she find a house finally? 8 houses down from where I live in Katuitt. So she's now in Katuitt, and she's a type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
So I've been learning quite a bit for her. She's fantastic on how she monitors her glucose or her sugars, because she's been like this since she was 8 years old. Her go-to has been yoga. They can do the cardio and everything, but really have to be careful on sugar levels. She is, because she's constantly on a monitor. I would still say the same thing for a type 2, to have especially it could plummet. When it plummets during exercise, you want to have that orange juice or something that gives a quick boost. So just more that they can do this, but they're going to have to more monitor themselves and be educated folks. Be educated in the condition that you're in. Yes, we have doctors. Yes, we have medical. But the best advocate for yourself, whatever condition you have, is yourself. Be educated in that, and she's very well educated. And I love yoga's a great way for her personally. Everybody's different. She's also tried a little bit of Pilates, which she said was extremely hard. But those are great go-tos, and it's all about the balance.
Okay. Do you do yoga too?
I should be a yogi, and I do a lot of stretching, especially after, which everybody seems to love now. We'll have a boxing class, or we'll have strength training. So I'll do the dynamic warm up before our workout. We'll do the workout, and then afterwards stretching. So that's, once again, is flexibility. I have done yoga in the past, though. Yes.
Okay, not anymore.
Not anymore. No.
Now just a boxing.
I do the boxing, and I stretch, and I do strength training. Yes, that's correct.
What kind of problem that your student come with? They have a problem to sleep or something like that. They come to you, hey, Donna, I have a problem to sleep. I know you're training me. I'm overweight and lose some weight. This kind of problem that you see your day by day, or
you see all different types of conditions that come in. I have very athletic people that have been doing it for many years, but there's also combined with people that struggle with weight. So I have all different conditions that come in. The exercises are tailored to them. So in general, if a boxing class is in a group or strength training is in a group, I will still come around. I will look at them. I will modify where they need to modify. Say somebody, for example, has lower back pains, or I would tell them, well, I don't think lifting up unless you have, might not be the best thing for you. So I'll modify what type of exercise that they can do that won't aggravate their condition. Correct.
Okay. So you moved to Cape Cod.
I did.
So when you move, you start with personal training, or you start years before, after?
I started years afterwards. I did a lot of my own endurance type of training. I've run 4 marathons. I can't tell you how many half marathons. I've done obstacle courses too.
Just for fun, or for competition, or for what?
Oh no, I love to compete. I used to.
You still competing something now, or nothing anymore?
Nothing right now. I'm just very busy in what I'm doing, but I'd like to do it again. Absolutely.
How did you prepare yourself to run a marathon?
Oh,
you have somebody to train you or something like that?
No, I just kind of went on my own. I wish at the time, years ago, I had Jeffrey around for the strength training, because I kind of did it on my own, but you learn from hit or miss. It's just starting off with small increments, as I mentioned all during this. You don't start off by running 10 miles a day. I started off by running, say, 3 miles. Then I go to 5 miles. I go to 7 miles. It takes good 6 months to truly train for a marathon. So your last portion of it before the actual marathon is running about a 21 mile run. But it's a lot of training. It's a lot of discipline. I trained for that course a lot different than I would train for a Spartan or a Tough Mudder. Totally different.
Nice. So how's the future looks like? What do you want to do for next 5 years?
I think I'm happy where I am right now, but I get to certain pinnacles of my age that I'm hoping, like training and still working out by 70. I'd love to go back and do a Spartan or a Tough Mudder, the Lord willing, that, my body stays strong and I'm in good health, which I am. And I'd love to be able to do that. I know I could. It just takes a lot of personal time, which is okay. And yes, I could see myself. I always told people I've done a lot of different jobs, but the job I probably like the most is what I do now. And I told somebody years ago, I said, I wish I found personal training years ago, and I had done administrative and sit-down jobs, because I found out I'm really not a sit-down person. I'm truly not. It's not my repertoire.
You got a lot of energy, right?
I have a tremendous amount of energy. It's just not my repertoire. And a lady I had trained at a different gym, and she was a principal at in Southborough, Northborough Regional High School. And she says, Donna, never say that what you did before didn't prepare you for what you do now. Everything you did in your past has you appreciating where you are today.
Nice.
And I just said, I could tell she's a principal and a teacher. She was probably one of the most significant words that have ever been said to me. And I've always carried it with me. I said, you're right. I probably wouldn't appreciate it or liked it as much as I do with what I'm doing today if I didn't do what I did in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you like working with the people?
I love working with people because I find people challenging, fun, unique. Everyone is different. And I just have a good repertoire in training people. I always have. Jeff, my mentor and friend, has his own unique style, which I enjoy immensely. It kind of helped me to learn my style.
Yeah.
His training methods got me to where I am today, but my personality is what carries me over. He has his way of training and I have mine. And our clients love us both and they feel very motivated and positive. I got one of the nicest compliments today when I did my boxing class, and this nice young man, he's very tall, but I find everybody's so much taller than I am. And I gave him a real cardio workout before his one-on-one because he's going to be fighting in this thing in Boston called Haymakers for Hope. It goes, I believe, to you donate into his fight, and it goes like cancer research. So he has been working his tail off. And he said when I was done, he said, Donna, he goes, that was a great workout. He says, you challenged me. And I thought oh, that's great. Hearing that from someone is probably the reason I do what I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's great.
Did you find your style already?
I have found my style.
What's your style?
My style is, I kind of get called different things. One of my clients and friends calls me Sergeant Donna. I said, well, I'm only 5'2", so I got to make sure people kind of hear me and understand, but I do it in tongue in cheek. I do it with fun and just motivating. So yes, I definitely have carved out a very unique style for myself and the clients.
So who train your husband? You?
Train me?
No, who train your husband?
My husband? Well, let's put it this way. My husband and I and I've been married 43 years. It was just a couple of days ago, celebrate our 43rd anniversary. He does nothing like I do. We're very different, but we get along very, very well together. His love and go-to for exercise is he has a commercial shellfish license. Yeah. So he's out, cold boat, still fishing for clams and scallop season and oyster season. He'll say, Donna, you want to go out with me? I said, absolutely not. But that's, like I said, everybody's got their own style. Running, he used to do with me years and years ago, and then says, no, not so much. And that's okay.
That's okay, sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So, Donna, what's your favorite food?
Favorite food as well as a go-to treat, or a favorite food maybe as...
Your day by day.
Day by day.
Mm-hmm. So what do you eat after workout?
What do I eat after a workout?
Yeah.
Good question. Believe it or not, I love salads. I do. I like all types, and not with a lot of dressing. Panera is it has great salads. So I'll get a lot of times a half a salad, and they'll have this chicken balsamic greens with a little bit of feta. It's die for. It's great. And I love soup. I love a good tomato soup or chicken noodle soup. Yeah, because that kind of charges me up. I have a sweet tooth. It's kind of one of my little downfalls. So you can kind of put a sweet thing in front of me. I say, "Ooh, that looks good."
Okay.
But yeah, that's one of my go-tos. Salads.
So you avoid sugar, avoid alcohol, avoid all these things.
Oh no! I love a good glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but not too much, right?
Not too much. So I have one of my best friends is Jeff's mom, Lorraine, and talk about an inspiration. Lorraine is 87. And she'll be 88, April 15th on tax day. That's how I always remember. And she still boxes. She has been, when it was not known or popular to work out, she has worked out all her life. And she comes in and she'll do a boxing class with the rest of us, which I find at 87 is absolutely inspirational,
Wow, exactly.
amazing. It's a testament to Jeff also working with her. And we get together each Friday and we'll have a glass or two of wine. And we're different generations, but we're best friends. And she's just a grand lady. And I am so fortunate she came into my life. And you got to see her move. She's not too bad. Due to the best plank I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What inspired you to continue do what you do?
Another thing that is very important to me is that exercise equates with mental health.
Yeah.
I'm glad that now in the country we're focusing on better health and better food. But if I could tell anyone anything, the sedentary life, our human body is not meant to sit down all the time. We need to get up, need to get that blood flowing. We need to get those muscles moving. So not only do you have the benefits body-wise and physical of good mental health, equates with it in that as you're moving, your serotonin level goes up, your attitude becomes more positive. As you work in your journey, your performance will get better. Your self-esteem gets better. Everything about it has nothing benefits. If we're just talking, people come in and say 3 days a week, just to be able to move your body. And I know it's difficult. You have long days at work and you come in, and I always say, bless them for coming in after a long 8 to 10 hour day. But it is the best self-care that you can do. A lot of them still have young children, family, and obligations. But you have to have that self-care.
Exactly.
It is not selfish to do it. You are better for not only yourself, you are better for everyone else around you. You take that 45, 50 minutes of your time. It is the best spent time you'll ever do for yourself, and especially for mental well-being. As I tell a little bit, like when I was 15, I started with anxiety and depression. Unfortunately, in my generation, nobody knew much of anything about anything. So by the time I got through my whole process in life, I have found that it has been the best thing, the endorphins, the serotonin, the chemical in the brain that just makes you feel better. And
Endorphin,
the endorphins that you get from it is just the best that you can do. I have never really seen clients. They're tired and exhausted, but they're so glad that they came in, and I'm glad to have them.
But we still have a lot of people lazy to wake up and they go to the gym and do something.
Yeah. It's hard to start that first step. I always tell people the hardest thing that you do going to wherever gym you go to is getting that first step in the door. That's one great thing about our gym. If initially when they come in, they're like, oh, look at all but then they find the friendliness, the camaraderie, and that's something important. You not only have to find what you love to do, you have to find a camaraderie with people that it really gels with you. And I believe our place does, kind of hits all those check marks. So guys, get up. You got them. I don't even care if it's not you can split 30 minutes of exercise. You say, I can't have time for that. Oh, everybody's got time. Say 10 minutes, you walk. 10 minutes, you get up from your chair at your job and you move a little bit. I don't care if it's just going to get a drink of water.
Yeah.
Just get yourself moving. You can get that 30 minutes in. It doesn't always have to be all at once. It could be segmented off. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. I have a last question for you.
Yeah, of course.
Everybody will die one day, unfortunately.
Yes,
so
of course.
When you die, how do you want to your community remember you? Community, friends, family?
I like my community to remember me as a friend, as a motivator, and that we had great stories together in the gym, But we also had great stories personally and friendships. Friendships to me, and I have a great network of friends here on Cape Cod that I have met, and I'm so fortunate. Like I said, I take back to my friend Lorraine. Have a great attitude. She, as well as everybody else, we all been through things in life. But when she greets me, and I want people to remember this about myself, because she kind of mentors me. She's got a smile on her face, a great heart, a hug for everybody, and a positive. And that's what I want people to remember me as. Not for, we all have our jobs and we all have our professions, and those are just a small part of who we are as people. Let people remember you a little bit for that, but a lot more for being a good friend, motivator, and a person that they can come to in good times and bad times.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Donna, for this amazing conversation.
Thank you. It's been amazing. It was my first podcast, and you did a great job with me, and I loved it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.